Yeah. So I have some Ethiopian friends that watch the show, and one of my homegirls is Ethiopian. I was at a hookah bar one day and I ran into her and I ain't seen her in a minute. And she's like, "Oh, what's up, Dave?" And I said, "What's going on?" And her name is TG. And TG is very active and she's Ethiopian and she's very active in her home country and the politics and stuff there. And she said, "Dave, have you heard about the war in my country?" And I'm like, "A little, but not much. I don't know what's going on." And so she talked to me and said, there's the faction in the government that's kind of controlling things. There's another group, and I don't want to get all the names incorrect because I haven't
Yeah.
looked at some of that stuff in a minute, so I don't want to get all of the names of groups wrong.
Yeah.
But basically, she said, "Hey, there's a big war going on, and Black people here in America don't understand what's happening in Ethiopia." And I said, "Okay." She said, "My friend is a journalist. Would you like to have her on, and maybe she and I can talk about the war?" And I said, "Absolutely." Right? I said, "But if I have y'all on, and somebody wants to come up and talk about the other side, let them." And she said, "Well, I don't know. We got to see." Okay, so I let them on. I get them on. One of them is an independent journalist, and one of them is pretty much an activist. And they talk about it, man. I get so many people watching the show and following. That was the first time I had 1,000 people on my live. I had 1,000 people on my live, and I said, "Wow, it's my first time." And what happened was people were going off in the comments. They're not telling the whole story. We have another side. They're it was bad. It was a war, right? So I'm over here in the middle, like, what's going on? So I said, "Hey, ladies, do you mind if I bring up someone from the other side?" They were like, "No, no, Dave. That's like bringing up ISIS or Al Qaeda." I was like, "Oh wow, this is really deep." So when I got off the line, we did like a 2-3 hour news segment. When I got off the line, I had so many more messages from other people. And some people were like, "Hey, I'm from the other side. I'd like to explain." Some people were doctors. Some people were activists. Some people were extremists. And I did a show where I let the other side speak.
I see.
And, and, and it really caused a problem with some of my friends because here's the thing. Here I am. I'm a Black American. I have my own podcast, and at that point, I might have had 3 or 5 thousand followers, which is not amazing, but it's still pretty big. If. So everybody from Ethiopia had jumped on. All their family members like, "Oh, such such is on this guy named Dave's show. We need to listen." So they all start supporting me. Shout out to all my Ethiopian followers and Eritrean followers for that matter. So they began to check me out, send me stuff, and I started posting things. I went to a rally here in LA. I went to a rally with my homegirl, and it was big, a big rally, right? Because some people said, "Hey, it's a war." Some people said it's not a war; it's a genocide. Like, it was really bad. Had the other side on the show. The other side got on the show, and some of them were pretty extreme, and they were just going off. Some dude tried to read me like, "Yeah, you don't have control of your own show. I took control of your show." And I'm like, "No, it's not that. I just let people speak. I feel like people should have a voice. If I'm giving you a platform, then I need to hear what you have to say. And if I'm informed to combat some of that stuff, I will." I said, "But I'm in the hat of a journalist right now. I'm impartial. I'm letting y'all talk." You know what I'm saying? So I caught a lot of heat for doing both sides, but then I did catch a lot of love for that too. And I learned a valuable lesson that day is that, you know, you really, as a journalist, have to be impartial and you have to let both sides speak. You have to. Otherwise, you're going to be accused of being one-sided and you're going to be accused of having an agenda and all of that stuff. So I just said, okay, if I do this again, I'll let all the parties have their own night and et cetera. But that was good, man. That really promoted the channel and that promoted the brand. So